UFC Fight Night, Cannonier versus Rodrigues, full card betting breakdown. Very fun fight card for sure, with 13 fights on the card. Main event's a banger. But yeah, we're going to be looking through the card, check out, what are the good parlay pieces, what are the good money line bets you should make, and then some props as well that have a lot of value on this fight night. It is a great card, a lot of good things to be looking at for this one for sure. And of course, if you do want to see all of the bets I am personally making, we have, I think, 2 parlays right now. One prop bet and like 7 money line bets. I'm going to be adding more prop bets later on this week, so be sure to become a member down in that pinned comment down below, and get all of my MMA bets for UFC, PFL. Literally any MMA bet I do is on there. We also have more perks. It's not just that, it's more full UFC rankings for the entire roster, not just the top 15, the best prospects outside of the UFC, early fight news on fight announcements that aren't actually available to the public, but only to you members, as well as the UFC contact list. So if you look at the contact list and you have a question for any UFC fighter on that list, I will, on your behalf, ask the fighter your question. So that's another great perk that I have on there. All of these ones down below for like 30 cents a day. It's crazy value. Go check it out. But let's get into it. The betting breakdown for this very, very good UFC fight night. The first fight of the night, as of right now, is women's MMA. Jacqueline Cavalcanti, Julia Avila. I said it in my underdog of the card video. I don't believe you should really be betting the money line either way here. Like, let's be honest. Do you want to bet minus 600 on Jacqueline Cavalcanti? No, you don't. I mean, she started out at minus 380, which that was iffy. I would have thought that could be a parlay piece, but it was still like on the brink of not a lot of value. Now it's minus 600. You want to stay away from a minus 600 bet, and then plus 400 on Julia Avila. I mean, you could take a flyer on her as an underdog. I don't feel good about her at all. So this is a fight money line wise you really want to stay away from. And I wouldn't even parlay, because what is minus 600 really going to do for your parlay? So it's a stay away fight in the first fight of the night at women's 135 pounds. Fight goes to a decision. That's interesting. It's minus 325 to go all the way. Jacqueline Cavalcanti, she's got 5 decision wins, 1 decision loss. She's got no submission wins or losses, and she's got 3 knockout wins, and they were against Melissa Croden, who's actually not bad, Nadja Mila, however you say that one, and then her win in her debut. Julia Avila is a little bit more of a finisher, I would say. She's got 4 knockout wins, 2 submission wins. She's got more of her wins coming by finish and more of her losses coming by finish. That's not even something I'd be interested in doing. The fight goes to a decision. Doesn't even interest me there as well. Cavalcanti inside of the distance. You can't do that because she's not going to go out there and submit Julia Avila in that fight. You'd have to do Cavalcanti by knockout at plus 500. But then even there, I mean, you're losing the value from plus 700. This really just seems like a fight you want to stay away from, if we're being quite honest with you. Cavalcanti by unanimous decision, minus 240. That's my prediction. But is there any value at all there? There is not. This is a stay away fight in the women's bantamweight division. Just find a different fight. Find a different fight. Do not bet on this one at 135 pounds. All right, and then we go on to the heavyweights here with Walter Walker and Don'Tale Mayes. And, this is an interesting one. Like I'm saying, the underdog odds on Don'Tale Mayes are crazy in my opinion. Plus 195, 2-1 underdog odds on Don'Tale Mayes to win against Walter Walker, who's 1-1 in the UFC. His only win is against a guy that's like, 2-4 or something in the UFC, and his only loss is against the guy that's 1-5 in the UFC. I mean, the underdog odds on Don'Tale Mayes obviously make a lot of sense, but what I want to look at here, that's obviously one that you should definitely look at least Don'Tale Mayes by underdog. But if we're looking at the props here, as of right now, the fight is favored to go to a decision. And I find this interesting because Walter's not going to finish Don'Tale. And I know what you're saying. Walter's got a lot of submissions on his record. Heel hook, Junior Tafa, ground and pound TKOs on the regional scene and things like that. He's never been finished in his own right. He hasn't really fought anybody good, if we're just being quite honest with you. He got rocked by Junior Tafa in his last fight. I would honestly venture to say, even though Don'Tale Mayes isn't like a prolific heavyweight finisher, he's got 7 finishes for his wins and 4 decisions for his win. He's not like a crazy finisher. he definitely has that heavyweight power on the feet, unless it's like one of those wrestling or holding type of fights. I can't see Walter finishing Dontail, but I can actually see a path to victory for Dontail getting a knockout. Now, Walker by decision, again, I don't see Walter Walker getting a finish, but plus 150, nothing really there. Mays wins by decision. That's my prediction, but I do see there definitely being value on Mays by knockout or Mays inside the distance decisional action if there is good enough odds there. And it's plus 100. It is plus 100, which makes me a little bit interested. Because I don't want to bet straight up the fight goes to a decision at minus 135, because I still see a good path for Dontail to get a knockout and a slim possibility that maybe Walter gets a submission somehow. I personally think it goes all the way, but I'm not confident. And if there's a finish, I think it's Dontail. And plus 100 really doesn't make too much sense in my opinion, as you know, it's been forever since Dontail has been finished, and Walter just got rocked in his last fight. If he's not able to get the takedowns and grind out 3 rounds straight, I mean, Lucas Brzezinski was landing good shots on him. Junior Tafa was landing good shots on him. I think Dontail Mays has a decent shot to go out there and get a finish. This isn't the first thing I look at. Obviously, Dontail just on the money line is obviously a way better way to go about things. But if you're looking at something else on the props, Dontail Mays scorecards no action at plus 100. Not horrible. It's not amazing, but it isn't horrible at all. That's the only thing I do. The underdog bet and maybe the inside the distance decision no action. That's about it. Vince Morales, is that actually the next one on Tapology? I gotta make sure. It is. Elijah Smith, Vince Morales. I do have Elijah Smith by decision. And the odds here, minus 155 for the money line. Minus 160 is kind of the mean. I don't think it's bad. It's definitely a favorite fight. Like a lot of these other fights are kind of dog or pass on the money line. This one is favorite or pass. You're not going to bet the underdog here because you lost a lot of value. You're only going to bet that minus 160, and that's about it. That's a decent favorite on this card, where most of the rest of the card are very, very good underdogs. The fight goes to a decision is minus 260. They're pretty confident this fight does go all the way. Elijah Smith, 4 knockout wins, 1 submission win, and then 2 decision wins on his record. The last one was Aaron Town, then he got Robert Trujillo. I do believe if he wins against Vince Morales, it'll be a decision. He's been knocked out before. He's not going to submit Vince Morales. Let's just get that right out of the bat. But he's not going to knock out Vince Morales either. The only time he's been knocked out, I believe, was the leg kick one, right? Yeah, Chris Gutierrez by leg kick knockout. He's never been chinned in the UFC, so I don't really see a high probability Elijah Smith goes out there and knocks out Vince Morales. So Smith by decision isn't horrible, because if there is a finish, I legitimately see it being a Vince Morales submission. I think that could be something to look into. Morales submission, it's not. Yeah, we lost every bit of value from plus 1,300 to now plus 500. The people know that was a good, valuable bet. But now it's just Smith by decision. You're getting better plus money odds as the days go on. Started at plus 100, going to plus 120. I'm assuming once more the bookies do roll it out, you might get plus 150 for Elijah Smith by a decision. By unanimous decision is risky. Is very, very risky, and it doesn't do much more, especially in a close fight like this. So I wouldn't do that. But plus money on the fight goes to a decision, and Elijah Smith winning. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. I don't feel like he could go out there and chin Vince Morales, and I don't feel like he's going to go out there and submit Vince Morales. Vince is a better grappler. And again, if Vince does somehow get hurt on the feet, he's going to grapple. He's going to survive. He's a gritty veteran. He's not going to get knocked out. So Elijah Smith by decision, plus money. Plus 150 is what I'm thinking the odds are going to come in at once they fully develop, but we shall see. That's what I'd do for that one. Gabriel Bonfim, Chaos Williams, another underdog or pass fight in terms of just the straight up money line. Plus 186 on Chaos Williams. Come on, take a fly at that. Gabriel Bonfim should not be in your parlays. This is a 50-50 pick'em in the welterweight division. Chaos is improving fight after fight after fight. Amazing striking, amazing power, and hasn't been out grappled in any of his UFC fights. He hasn't really been tested though, so there's unknowns there, like I've been saying in my videos about this fight. But yeah, dog or pass there for sure in the UFC welterweight division. I wouldn't do anything finish-wise for this one. because Williams inside the distance isn't crazy value. Bonfim inside the distance isn't crazy value. But Chaos Williams by decision is sneaky valuable. And the reason I say it's sneaky valuable is it's plus 600 now on just one bookie. Once the rest of them roll through, you'll get some plus 800, some plus 750s in there and things like that. Chaos Williams, I know he's a knockout machine, but about half of his wins are by decision. Let's put that out there. Is he decision Rolando Bedoya, who's now a UFC lightweight. He went to a decision with Randy Brown. And he decisioned Matthew Semmelsberger, who, we've seen get chinned many, many times after that. He beat him here by decision, and after that, he got knocked out bad by Uros Medic, and then a wrestler in Charles Radke was able to knock him out. So it's not like he's only going out there and knocking out everyone. He's got a lot of knockouts for sure in round one, but he's got a few decisions as well. And I know what you're saying, Gabriel Bonfim, his only loss was by knockout to Nicholas Dalby. He gassed out first off, and Nicholas Dalby put the pace on him. With the striking, with the grappling even, and really made him work. Chaos, I don't think is going to make him work. And that's a way to finish these grapplers. I'm forgetting the fight. I think might have been Carlos Prates or Mauricio Hufi. Watch this one. Mauricio Hufi versus Raymond Magomedaliev. That's Khabib Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev, training partner, protege type of thing. Versus Mauricio Hufi on the Contender Series. Mauricio Hufi made him work and gassed him out, and then in the later rounds was able to finish him because he was making him work in the grappling and wrestling and really making it a very active and high-paced fight. Chaos doesn't really make it a high-paced type of fight. So I don't think he's going to gas out Gabriel, and that's the way to really knock out the grapplers. That's the way you're going to knock out a Walter Walker, is if you gas him out and finish him late. So the way to beat him by knockout is probably to make him work early, and I don't think Chaos will do that. So if he wins, it'll be a decision, I think. I really do believe it'll be a decision for Chaos Williams. So plus 600, odds are probably going to get even better than that. Again, money line wise, good odds on Chaos Williams, but decision, again, that's my prediction, is Chaos Williams by decision plus 600? And that's the starting odds. I'm assuming people are going to see Chaos and see Gabriel's high finishing abilities, all their knockouts and submissions. They're going to bet all of the inside the distance bets, which, again, don't have value, plus 120, plus 250, no. That's when you pounce a little bit on the decision bet, which I'm not saying put a unit on it, but put a little sprinkle. On that. I think it's got a lot of value. Next one, we got Rafael Estevam. Another, again, like I was saying, the Elijah Smith, Vince Morales fight, kind of like the only fight on this card I'll go out there and say is like a good favorite to bet on. You know what I mean? Whereas we start getting into the rest of the card, Dante, Chaos Williams, and now Jesus Aguilar. These are underdogs. These are three underdogs here that have good value. 28 years old. He's more powerful. He's got the better finishing ability than Rafael Estevam. Rafael, if we look at his record, he's 12-0. That looks amazing, but he's a decision machine. 5 decision wins. He's got 7 finishes on his record. Against some okay guys, but they're like ground and pound wins on the Contender Series outside the UFC. He's not really like finishing anybody on the feet. He's taking him down and ground and pound. He's not going to ground and pound TKO Jesus. And I find it hard to believe he's going to submit Jesus. And I know Jesus has been submitted by Tatsuro Taira and by Gabriel Valdez a long time ago. I don't think he's going to submit him. So I do believe that there's a finish here. It's going to be this freaking, 80%, 90% finish rate at flyweight in Jesus Aguilar, for sure. If there's a finish here, it's going to be Jesus Aguilar. And if we're looking at the odds, it's interesting. It is really, really interesting because, my prediction is Rafael Estevam by a decision. And the odds to go to a decision are plus 110, which aren't bad. Like, I legitimately think that's good value. Like, plus 110 on the fight just to go to a decision is good value. I got Rafael by decision, but am I confident? No. Am I confident enough to just go from plus 110 decision or specifically Rafael Estevam decision, which is that plus 150. Not a lot better value there. So I would say, like, just go in the fight goes to a decision here when no, Jesus isn't a decision guy, but he's got 3 decisions. He didn't finish Mateusz Mendonca. He didn't finish Christian Barraza over here. And again, Rafael's undefeated. We haven't seen him really get close to being finished himself. I don't think it's bad. I really don't. I really don't think these are bad odds at all. I think it should be favored to go all the way. Again, Rafael, most of his wins are finishes. They're not as good as Jesus Aguilar. I don't believe he's going to go out there and submit or knock out Jesus. And I don't think Jesus is going to go out there and finish Rafael. I think the fight goes all the way. So, again, not crazy, like amazing value here, but plus 110 is not bad at all. Is not bad at all. We go down the list a little bit. Estevam submission, Aguilar submission has some value. But plus 110 just, it makes me think. And then this one also. This one last. We'll look at this one last. Jesus Aguilar scorecards, no action. I was assuming they're going to be kind of like this. I think that's a flyer as well. I think that is a flyer as well. Plus 250 for if there is a finish, it's going to be Aguilar. I would say so. Plus 250 is solid value. So that's about it. Underdog, money line odds. You could do the fight goes to a decision at plus money or Aguilar by finish, decision, no action, which is a little bit worse than the straight up money line. But again, if he's going to win, it'll probably be a finish. I can see it maybe a decision, but I doubt it. If there's a decision, it's very much more likely to be Estevam, but it's possible. But yeah, finish, decision, no action, money line odds, goes to a decision. Not too shabby there. There's definitely some things you can look at. Then we do have Jared Gordon, Mashrabov, Ruziboyev. Solid fight. Not really any props yet. I can refresh, but over 2.5 rounds is at minus 125. They basically think it'll go to a decision. Pretty 50-50 on that, so they're not confident, but I think it goes to a decision. Personally, I wouldn't bet on any of that. I don't like betting finishes or decisions or anything like that, especially if it's a short notice. That's a really risky thing to do, so parlay piece, I guess. Jared Gordon, I feel pretty good about. To go out there and beat Mashrabov. Mashrabov's coming on short notice. He hasn't fought in over like a year and a half. Jared's a better technical striker. He's got good grappling and wrestling defense. And that's a possible parlay piece. That again, we don't have any props to really look at, but minus 265 when we look at his history. Real quick. When we look at his history in the UFC, he was a 2-1 favorite over Marco Madsen. And, now he's like pretty much similar odds to Ruziboyev on short notice. Marco Madsen was undefeated Danish prospect at the time. And yes, he went out there and knocked out Mark Madsen, but minus 210, minus 280 isn't a huge difference. And they were similar odds there. He was the underdog against some of these guys here. He was the 2.5 to 1 favorite over Leonardo Santos. I don't know. I don't think he should be like this, to be honest. I really think he should be a bigger favorite than minus 280. I feel like if he's a minus 210 against Mark Madsen, he should probably be like 4 to 1, 5 to 1. I really do believe so. So I think that's a good money line bet, parlay piece if you want to do that. I like the odds. Minus 280, minus 265, not shabby at all. Not shabby at all for Jared Gordon. Next one, Angela Hill. I think I've said this so many times this week. Angela Hill. I feel good about her. I don't know why so many people are that high on Souza. I can be proven like super wrong once the fight happens and Souza goes out there and starches Angela Hill. I feel good on Angela Hill. And, you could get minus 104 if you're on, Bet 104. Minus 109 on Bookmaker. Minus 108. She's a slight underdog on some of these, which is surprising in my opinion. She's a slight favorite on others, slight underdog on others. It's a pick'em. And I feel more than 60% confident on Angela Hill here. I think this is good value. I personally, I will say it right now. Even though you guys aren't members yet, toppling down below in that pinned comment, I already put $500 on Angela Hill. I feel really good about her. Do I want to look at the props? Not really. Fight goes to a decision. Kind of crazy. minus 500. Not something I really want to do. That's insane that her decision odds are the same as her money line odds. That's funny. But yeah, like, that she's going to win. Like, I don't understand how it's minus 110 pick 'em. I really, really don't know. I don't want to look at the props. I think the clear thing to do is money line bet Angela Hill. All I got to say about that one, that's a good bet. It's a good bet. Ladies and gentlemen. Next one, we got Jose Delgado, Connor Matthews. I wouldn't be mad at a parlay piece for Jose. Minus 300 isn't. It's not amazing. It's not like, oh yeah, that's a good parlay. Minus 300. But it's not horrible. It's not horrible. Definitely something you could put in a parlay. Not either one of these, not really a money line thing, but a parlay piece could be there at minus 300. Not horrible, like I'm saying. But this is where I really want to look into things, is the props. Jose Delgado, let's look at his career. He's got a lot of knockouts, a lot of finishes on his record. 4 knockout wins, 4 submission wins. He is a finisher. He's coming off a second round, knee to the head, knockout win over an 8-0 Ernie Juarez. He's lost one time. It was by decision to Chris Macat. Connor Matthews, though, been knocked out one time by Denis Buzukja. That was his last fight in March. I personally have Jose Delgado by decision, but I'm not confident. I am not at all confident. I do believe, and I understand it a lot, why the odds are how they are for the fight to go to a decision at plus 145. I understand that a lot. Delgado inside he's not going to submit Connor Matthews. He's not going to do that. But Delgado by knockout, crazy value. Crazy value. Plus 200 on Betway right now. Delgado by decision is plus 210. It's about even between decision and knockout. I'm back and forth on a knockout or a decision. So either one of those, if you're confident he goes out there and gets the knockout, which I'm still 50-50 on it, that's about it. You could parlay him on the money line, or you could go either way here. Delgado by decision or Delgado by knockout. He's not going to get a submission. It's just not going to happen. I don't think he's going to submit Connor Matthews in this fight. If he's going to win, it's going to be by knockout or a decision. So those are things to look at for sure. Those are definitely things to look at for sure. I personally, because my prediction is Delgado by decision, I'm probably looking at that decision at plus 210 and maybe sprinkling a half unit, a quarter unit on that. But that's about it. Those two props, depending on what you actually think, Delgado by knockout, Delgado by decision, 2-1 odds aren't bad at all. But if you're not going to do that, money line it. Money line it in a parlay. That's about it. I personally think plus 210 decision, that's the best way to go, as well as maybe a parlay piece as well. Then we do have, I think this is another underdog. Andre Petroski, Rodolfo Vieira. Yeah, I have Rodolfo winning. You can go watch my regular prediction videos. I don't feel good about Rodolfo at all. I have him by decision, 29-28, maybe a split decision. But come on, guys. Andre Petroski's at plus 210. Plus 210 in the UFC. Let's go back to his UFC. Is that his UFC debut? I don't know. Where is it? UFC debut back in 2021. 4-1 favorite. TKO win. Submission win over here. Beat Phil Halls in a grappling match. Beat Nick Maximov as a 4-1 underdog and submitted him. Beat Eric Anders by decision. Or by submission. Beat Wellington Turman by unanimous decision. OV St. Preux. Where's the fight where he's like a heavy underdog? Michel Pereira. And then Jacob Malkoun, he was a 2-1 dog. I don't know why they're doing this. Why would they have him as this big of a dog? Why is he 50-50 against Josh Friend? I look at like all the odds throughout his career in the UFC. I don't understand them at all. Minus 280, that's it? Against Dylan Budka? Minus 115, 50-50 against Josh Friend. A 2-1 underdog against Jacob Malkoun. Now, more than a 2-1 underdog against Rodolfo Vieira. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. His grappling and wrestling, just like the Jacob Malkoun fight did, canceled out. And they struck. And he won round 1. Then he got clipped with the Jacob Malkoun's hip and got knocked out from a freaking hip thing. But it canceled out. Jacob Malkoun wasn't able to take him down. He wasn't really able to take down Jacob Malkoun. That's what's going to happen here. They're going to cancel out the ground game, and they're going to strike. They're going to strike. So for the odds to be this bad, when I think it should be like minus 120 Vieira, plus 100 for Petroski, doesn't make sense. So plus 210, great odds on Andre Petroski for sure. Fight goes to a decision. I would honestly venture to say the finish decision, no action. Nah. Minus 325 isn't good. Isn't good. So, well, what will we look at instead? Petroski decision has me thinking plus 400. Plus 400 on Petroski decision. That's got me thinking, because I don't think he's going to gas out Vieira and submit him like, what's his name did? Anthony Hernandez did. I don't think he's going to outstrike like Chris Curtis and then knock him out at some point in this fight. He's not going to knock out Rodolfo Vieira. He's not that good of a striker. But he could decision him for sure. He could decision him for sure. Like Chris Curtis, just make it a striking match and win a 29-28, very close one. I could see him decisioning this one. And 4-1 isn't bad. Isn't bad. He's got 4 decisions, 4 submissions, 4 knockouts. He's not going to knock out. He's not going to knock out Rodolfo Vieira. Let's find his knockouts on his record. Ground and pound TKO against the bum. Second round knockout win. These are all like pre-2020 knockout wins. Pre-2020 losing record, and then Andre Hall, who's 4-2, hasn't fought since that knockout loss. He's not going to knock him out. He's not going to submit him either, because you got to gas him out if you're going to submit the freaking highly touted jiu-jitsu guy. He's going to decision him. If he's going to win, it'll be a decision. Dylan Butka, Josh Frem decision, Gerald Merchart decision, Wellington Term. He hasn't gotten a finish in 4 fights, 4 decision wins in a row, and then obviously the losses. I think that's what you do. You can money line him at plus 210, sure. Or you can look at the prop. Plus 400 on Petroski decision is not bad at all. If there's going to be a finish, it'll be a Vieira submission, but I don't think that's going to happen, personally. I don't see it. I think the fight does go all the way, and I do have Vieira by decision, which, again, isn't horrible either. Plus 275, but I still think there's a lot more value at plus 400 because of how coin flippy of a fight it is. I really do think so, and Andre Petroski, if you're on the side of Vieira's going to win, and you don't want to bet Andre Petroski, Petroski's only been knocked out. He's never been submitted. He's only been knocked out. Jacob Malkoun with the flukeness, Michel Pereira with the knockout, and then Aaron Jeffrey with a knockout. He's never been submitted or really in any danger of being submitted. So I feel good this goes to a decision. This is like, what is the other fight we were talking about? It was like plus 110. Was it Jesus Aguilar, Rafael Estevam? This is another one. You're getting plus 145 for this fight to go to a decision. Let me scratch what I said earlier on specifically going Vieira or Petroski by decision. I say underdog money line on Andre Petroski, or straight up fight goes to a decision plus 145. He's not going to knock out Vieira. Vieira's never been knocked out. He's not going to submit Vieira. Vieira's not going to knock out Petroski. That's the only way Petroski loses. Vieira doesn't have any power. And I don't think he's going to submit Petroski. Petroski's never been submitted. That's my argument there. There's definitely things to look at in that one. Then we got Ismail Bonfim taking on Nazim Sadykhov. Prediction is Nazim by decision. So again, obviously, money line wise, it's a dog or pass. Plus 175 on Nazim. Not a bad dog bet at all. Fight goes to a decision. Yeah, I got it going to a decision, and I'm about that confident. Minus 145 seems about right. Not a lot of value there. Bonfim by decision, Sadykhov by decision is plus 450. That is interesting. That's another one. Let me see. Ismail Bonfim has been submitted in every one of his losses. That's crazy. He's never lost by decision or knockout. He only loses by submission in round 1. Of course, a lot of them were a long time ago. Renato Moicano, these guys back in 2011. And then Benoit Saint-Denis with the rear naked choke. Nazim's not really that guy, though. He's a good grappler, but he's 2 submission wins. I think one was Terrence McKinney, right? He's not going to go out there and submit him. He's not going to go out there and knock him out either, I don't think. His last knockout was Ahmed Hazanzada, which is not a bad win. But, you know, I don't think he finishes him, and I think plus 450 isn't bad either. Money line on Nazim isn't horrible, and decision bet on Nazim isn't horrible either at plus 450, because I don't think he's going to submit him. He's not the submission type of guy. He's a great striker, and he's got great technique and volume, good wrestling, but he's not really like a submission type of guy. So I don't think he's going to finish Bonfim. I think it's a 29-28 decision that goes either way when, you know, Bonfim decision, plus 130, it's horrible. Plus 130 is, you're getting nothing. You're getting scraps. On a fight, I think it could go either way. Plus 130, plus 450. You know, Nazim decision is the way to go there. Then we got, what's happening? There we go. Dylan Butka, Edmund Shabazian. I think my most confident pick of the card is Edmund. So yeah, parlay piece on Edmund Shabazian. My prediction was knockout for Edmund Shabazian. I doubt you're going to get anything good for that. Plus 125 for Shabazian knockout. Not good enough in my opinion. Dylan has been knocked out before. My prediction is him by knockout. It's a parlay piece or pass. I don't really want to look into too many of the props, to be straight up with you guys. And I think if he gets a knockout, it'll be early, so it'll probably be under a round and a half if you want to take a flyer on that. Plus 155, under a round and a half. If you're able to parlay Edmund and under a round and a half, could possibly do that, but other than that, I think it's just a parlay piece or pass, to be honest with you guys. Then we got, is it co-main event time? Calvin Kattar, Youssef Zalal. Underdog or pass money line wise. Again, not a parlay piece for Youssef Zalal. Way too big of a favorite. What did he start out as? Minus 225 would have been approachable. Would have definitely been approachable as a bet. Minus 425. Stay away, buddy. Stay away. Yeah, I got Youssef by decision, but again, yeah, minus 140 minus on a prop is crazy. Kattar by submission, obviously not, but come on, why is that on here? Kattar by knockout, Kattar by decision. Yeah, I don't think there's much here I'd like at all. There's not much. Straight up, it's a dog if you want to sprinkle on Calvin. That's about it. I mean, Youssef is a step down from Aljamain Sterling, and yes, he got dominated by Aljamain Sterling. This is Youssef Zalal. From Aljamain to Youssef is a pretty big difference in my opinion. And he's gotten 10 months to prepare for wrestlers and grapplers. 2 camps in a row for wrestlers. He's just going to keep getting better with the takedown defense. So we'll see. I got a little hiccup going. I don't think it's a parlayable thing for Zalal. I don't really like any of the props. It's a dog or pass. It's a dog or pass. And then main event time, Gregory RoboCop Rodrigues. This is interesting. This is very, very interesting. Money line wise, I think it's a stay away either way. Minus 230, minus 220, plus 180s. It's a stay away for me money line wise on either guy. I don't want to bet either guy, to be honest with you. Cannonier decision, no action seems iffy for me. I don't know. Let me look at the props again. Because nothing's really sticking out on the over-unders. The fight goes to a decision. I don't see it. It's possible, I guess, but I highly, highly doubt this fight goes to a decision. That'd be crazy. He's got 5 decisions on his record. Surprisingly, his last one was with Christian Leroy Duncan, but he just wrestled the whole fight, grappled the whole fight. I doubt he does that with Jared. He's going to strike because he knows the chin of Jared is a lot worse, where Leroy has a good chin and has good countering ability. I don't know. This might be a stay away, ladies and gentlemen. This might be a stay away. I don't think he's going to submit Jared Cannonier. So plus 163 on a knockout could be interesting. He's got 4 submissions But even when he gets submission positions, he's going for ground and pound anyway. Just like the Dennis Chilinin fight. He was in position to get a rear naked, and he just ground and pounded. So, when was the last time he got a submission? Like early MMA career. 2018 armbar. Has Jarrett ever been submitted? No. That's about it. That's about it. Knockout prop. That's all we really have for this one. Plus 150. What was it at? Plus 170? That's solid. I would have bet that for sure. Now it's plus 150. It's still not bad. It still isn't bad. That's about it though. It's about it. I wouldn't do any decision. I wouldn't do any submission craziness, any over-unders. It's a knockout prop there for the main event. That's about all I do for that one. But that's what I got for you guys. UFC Fight Night, Cannonier versus Rodrigues. We looked at all the money line odds, the underdog odds on these cards, the props, some of the parlay pieces as well. Hope you guys liked the video. Hope you guys learned some stuff and make some money this weekend. Of course, if you do want to see other bets that I am making, as well as all these other crazy perks that I have on here, dude, so much stuff on the Bird MMA Gold membership, all 5 perks included. Check out that link in the pinned comment or the top link in the description. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.